Hello, this is Counterattack. This is not a playthrough. This is not a review. This is about ASL though. I've been accumulating a few ASL products and I've started to hit the point where I think a lot of ASL players hit. They don't know how to store them. So I figured I might show you what I'm doing. And also I get a lot of questions about stuff I use in my videos, so maybe I'll show that too. So if that sounds really boring, turn it off. Otherwise, hang out. Okay, so there's my rulebooks, the full rulebook plus the pocket edition. They just hang out together. And then here's the three modules I own. I just got into the game. I bought Beyond Valor. Then Yanks came out, the third edition. I think it's third edition. I'm like, oh, I gotta get that. And then I realized like there's a bottleneck module. Like I call it a bottleneck because a lot of scenarios require maps from this, or it also has the British units, which a lot of scenarios use. So I thought, oh, I better acquire that. So I found that someone's selling it somewhere. So, but anyway, the way I want to store stuff is I would really like all the British stuff here, all the American stuff there, and all the German and Russian stuff there. Unfortunately, there's 3 orders of battle in there, but essentially use the boxes. So, yeah, so let me open these guys up. So here's the Beyond Valor content. So I use GMT counter trays. I think they're great for games that you have lots of counters. So basically I organize infantry, and I do this for each nationality. I put all the infantry in one tray. And then Russians have a special human wave thing, so I threw that in there. Save space in my general counter tray. And I always follow the same stuff. All the full squads here, all the half squads here, and they correspond to the full squads, so it's easy to swap stuff out. I put all concealment counters here because you're grabbing those a lot. And then depending on what the nationality is, the sections, they might move around depending on what the nationality is, but pretty much like that. So support all the support weapons. And so we can see the same thing here with the British, same thing here with the Americans. So also armored. Sorry for horrible filming, showing shadows and all kinds of shiny stuff. Armor, I see some people, they like just, they'll have one cell for each kind of tank. I don't do that. I group the tanks and guns. I order them by the order they are in the armory of the rulebook. And then like I try to group them into chunks, like whatever, all the T-34s, since there's so many of them, go in one chunk. Things with similar caliber in another chunk, whatever. So I figure I'm not getting these guys out a lot during a scenario, unlike infantry, which, they're dying, they're deploying, they're recombining. So the tanks, I don't care too much about efficiency. I want the infantry efficient, though. And since Beyond Valor has multiple orders of battle, I have 2 more trays in here. So 3 more trays. I got 3 for the Germans because they have so much in terms of vehicles. Now, unfortunately, they also have the Finnish and Partisan order of battle, like the little mini order of battles that come with Beyond Valor. I don't have a box for those. I stuck them with the Americans for now. I need to buy Hakapelle. I'm not sure how to say that, but the Finnish box. That would help me, but I'm not buying it just yet. For King and Country, no problem. So like I said, the Americans, same thing, but they are holding on to the Finns and the Partisans that came with Beyond Valor. And then this tray is all the markers that I consider to be pretty rarely used, like gliders and paratroops and night rules and climbing stuff. So sewers, boats. So I just, for lack of a place to put it, I put it in the American box. Wish I had something else. And then not in a box at all, unfortunately, are the common counters. And so I've organized these in a way that I think is efficient for me. For example, prep fire, residual firepower, defensive first fire stuff, all in the first row. And I kind of, group things as I thought they would get used, from most to least common. And this is all enough to play with infantry. This is like sort of all the bookkeeping type stuff up here, and plus snipers. And then this other one is everything related to armor, plus some terrain modifiers. So if I'm not playing an armored situation, more than likely I will not need this tray. All right, enough of that. Okay, so the only way I was able to fit stuff in those boxes is by pulling the maps and scenarios out. So there's no maps or scenarios in those boxes. And I think that's okay because the maps, they're not specific to a nationality, and the scenarios, they're cross nationalities. So I went and bought a 3-inch 3-ring binder. Seemed like too big at the time. I can totally see I'm going to run out of space with it if I keep up my crazy ASL buying. But so I just put every map in here, and I order them by their number. Because the maps are folded on one, they fold in half. I have to alternate them upside down, upside up, upside down, upside up. Because otherwise, one side of this book would just be super thick from where the fold is a little thicker than where it's not folded. But anyway, I just threw them all in here. And works out good. And I bought just really cheapo page protectors, basically, so they're all slide into there. And for the scenarios, I did the same thing. Bought page protectors, slid them in to a 3-ring binder. So that works out good. And since they're paper, work out a little better than the maps going in there, but both work good. Work well. And again, I don't really interact with these very often because you just set up the scenario once, right? So I only have to use them when I take them out and put it away. Now, one thing, I just acquired this Rivers to the Reich add-on, and it has overlays, which I have not used before. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to store those because they'll be cut out. I don't know. I might just put them in a box. I feel like they don't belong in a like stacked vertically or whatever in a page protector. But anyway, that's that. And actually, that's all my ASL storage. So I just thought I'd give a quick overview of that. And then now I'll show some of the tools I use because I get constantly asked about them. Okay, here's my tools. I just bought a nice little die tray. I really like it. Wooden die tray, pretty big. Actually takes up a lot of space. Everyone asks me about these tweezers, man. They're just tweezers. Bought them at a drugstore, but I think they're like 8 inches long. I've been asked so many times about them. I mean, probably 20 times. I counter clip all my counters. This is the Organ Laminations 2mm counter clip corner rounder. I don't know if they build this one anymore. I think this is the old school one. They have a new fancier one. Honestly, this one seems like it might be easier to use. I watched some videos of the newer one, but anyway, I use that. And then quite a few people asked me about my line of sight checker. This is a lanyard holder, or it's a badge lanyard. So if you have a job where you need like a badge, you attach it to this. You attach it to your clothes, and then basically you might attach this to your pocket or something, and you can pull your badge out and like go through a badge reader. And so what is nice though, it has this nice, very strong, thin thread. So I use that. You can buy those really cheap online. And finally, people ask me about this camera. Let's see if I can get it there. This is the Samsung HMX W300. Fairly cheap. It's probably like really outdated by now, but I like it. It's very light. And then people ask me about my tripod setup. It's like a heavy metal little legs there. And so it's not one of those like flexi tripods, which I've used a few times, and they seem to break fairly easily. In fact, this one's on the way to go. These little ball joints just do not work out so hot. But I like it. I like how strong and heavy it is. So anyway, I'll stop boring you with that. That is everything. Thanks for watching.